Hey guys, it's Cindy over at paper.old.new. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with me today. I am looking to do some crafting. As you saw in the last sorting video where we did ephemera bits, and I was trying to put it into drawers and organize it, and apparently I have way more ephemera made than I thought. So I need to start using it up. I thought these calendar books, because they're relatively eclectic by nature, just because each picture is based on the month. So the theme is the year or the seasons of the year or, whatever. So going through my ephemera to decorate this journal once we get it, to that stage, will be a little easier because I feel like I'll be able to use lots of different things in here because there's just so much different. And all of them are like that. I mean, they all have very different, that's all baskets with some sort of plant or something in it, but they're all very different color-wise and different plants. I have several of these here. All different images, and I thought it would be fun to turn a bunch of them into journals. So I wanted to take you through my prep steps just to show you how I'm doing this. And I did want to tell you that if you go back and you watch the calendar journals that I was doing before and you saw me doing the tab bindings and all of that, I am not doing that this time. I have decided to do this a little bit differently. It's going to be more of a journal than I feel like the other ones were very limited in their ability to expand or, have more stuff in them. So these ones are going to have a little more weight to them, I think, and I'm going to see how this works. This one, let me see, I think I've taken the staples out of it. Let me see where I am in this. I've taken the staples out of it and I've torn it, okay? So basically, except for the cover, and apparently the cover is one of the pictures, so I'm going to have to take that one too. So basically what I'm doing with these is I am getting all of the pages like this, and I'm folding them in half this way. But what I have to do with each set is they're all framed differently. So I have to decide how much of the picture I want, how much of the frame I want, if I want a saying, if it's down here, all of those kind of things I take into account, and then I get my pages cut. So we go through and do all the cutting first. So that's where I would start. And I have my cutting mat out here. And basically what I'm going to do, and this one's going to have a relatively thick page. And then all of the little things on the back here, I tend to keep. I cut them out and I use them as ephemera, either in here or I can use them elsewhere. Now for these ones, I think what I'm going to do, let's measure how wide they are. Because before I didn't measure them. It's a little under 10.5. So what I think I want to do is decide how wide I want all my framing to be, and then I'm going to try and cut them all evenly. I have to think. I think the one thing I haven't moved up here is rulers and that sort of thing. Oh, but you know what I do have? Okay, maybe we can do it with this. Maybe I won't need the cutting mat. At least not right now. So I'm going to take... I should get one of my big cutting mats. I mean, I have the space to use it. I should get it out. All right, so I'm going to cut this down here underneath the millennium part. All right, so we're going to keep the thing at the bottom. Now, a lot of times what I'll do with these framed ones, if I am keeping a piece at the bottom, I make that wider, and then I make all these pieces narrower to kind of resemble a Polaroid. Does that make sense? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so what I'm thinking is I'll go over to the, let's see, will that give me, All right, so I'm going to go over to the 1/2 inch mark here. So we're going to take off 1/2 inch of stuff. See how that goes. All right. Does that look crooked to anybody else? Oh, that is so crooked. How did we manage that? All right, let's try again. I need it to be straight, so I need that to... Okay. That's good. Now, I have that very small bit around there. Let's go over here. This should be the same size. So I'm going to go ahead and put this out on this line. Okay. All right, so we do like that, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. I only want that little bit, that little 1/8 of an inch or so. And then what I need to do is then what I would do from there, I'm going to put that over there, to make all the other pages match, because calendar pages are basically all the same size, right? So to make all the other pages match, what I would most likely do is measure this page. Now that I've cut it, I'll measure this page, and I've taken off about 1 inch because it was a little under 10.5. Now it's a little under 9.5. And it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 tall. So that's my goal, is to hit them all about that same size. And of course, that didn't equal out to being something that would be easy to cut. But I've left, I would say, about 1/8 of an inch. If I was to go and line this up with a 1/4 inch mark, I've left about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So that's what my goal would be for all these other pages. So now I would go through and I would cut all of these pages. All right. I'm not going to do that on camera right now. And then after that, I would take them and I would fold them. So these would get folded like this. I'm going to fold them in half. And remember, my idea on these is to preserve the pretty pictures. I mean, calendars are always really pretty. I mean, they've always got some of the prettiest pictures. And you don't necessarily want to cut them up, and they're really big. So I would fold this. I'm not a huge fan of the ones that are, the cover is the first picture. I like it better when they have a page in between there, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. This is what I got. This is my, first page in my book. And for all of those, and I'm going to do this because on this one is not necessarily needed, but just to show you how I set these up. After I've got all my pages cut, I fold them all in half, and then I am going through and putting tape down the center. Okay. Now this is going to be for reinforcement purposes because this journal is not going to be sewn the traditional way. So this is some extra support for the type of binding that I'm doing. I don't know if you can actually call it binding. All right, and then I'm just going to cut the tape with the edge, okay? And that would be how I would prepare all the pages, okay? And then I fold this back over and I crease it again, and that's page 1 of my journal. And remember, being the nature of a calendar, if the outside is upside down, then your inside is right side up. Okay, so that's how I would do this. So this is a calendar that I haven't done the cutting and folding on. As you can see, I have several of them here that I've already... Ooh, it's putting little divots in the... I've cut them. This was another one where the cover was the first page. I've folded them, I've cut them out, I've folded them, and I've taped them. Okay, so all of these here go with this calendar, and this is like this. And then, see, I wish this extra page was in the front instead of the back. But, you know. So, that's that. Okay, so, that was my son. He was coming up to see what I was doing. Now that I'm in my new space and I don't have to announce to anybody that I'm going to come up here and record because I'm in my room. Yeah, sometimes they come up here to get me and they're getting used to it too. I've started locking my door if I'm recording. So if you hear a knock, that's why. Anyway, so that's all of these that I've broken down, and I've already taped the calendar pages. On this one, this is the one I decided to start with. So what I'm doing here, and this is the stage I'm at, is this is a piece of scrapbook paper, and it's paper. It's not card. Although you could use card because these are paper. The best, this would actually probably be a good one to use card on because the front page of this particular calendar was one of these where they do a quick glance of the years. And so this was paper. So my first one on this one was paper. So card wouldn't be too bad in here. And also, because these are paper, not all of them have to be the same weight. So I could put some card on some of these if I wanted it to be heavier for some reason. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm selecting scrapbook paper that I think goes with the book. And in here, this is going to be my first page. It takes me a minute. Scrambles my brain, these calendar books. And then you would open up, and this would be the other side of the page. These are going to get attached there. Okay, so this page and this page are going to get glued together. All right. Now, I am going to reinforce the scrapbook papers also, maybe unless they're lightweight card or heavier, then I might not. But the idea behind this is I would do any kind, the reason I haven't glued it, I guess, is the idea behind this is I would do the reinforcement, and then if I want to sew any pages in here, like if I want to put, and it doesn't have to be all of them, but if I wanted to put a couple of journaling pages in here or some, some pages in here, then the idea would need to come before I glued it together, just because I think it would be easier to manage. Okay, so, and then nothing will get sewn inside there because the idea is to keep the picture uninterrupted. So does that make sense to everybody? I hope. So that's where I am on this, and what I was going to do was go through and select some papers. So what I did was I got some scrapbook paper, and I've been going through and looking for, as you can see, that's where that came from. I've been going through and looking for things that I would like to put in the book for the next page. Now the next page goes between this icy tree and this Valentine tree. My thought was to get something kind of lavenderish, but I don't know if I have anything that fits the bill. My other thought was something like this. I'm going to tear it if I'm not careful. Was something like this. Even though this one's the blues, but this one's the pinks, and I thought maybe something like that would be nice. So unless I find something, and like I said, eclectic, so I don't mind mixing like the different things. That might be good. The blue and the pink, so I've got roses and blue. So maybe we use that. Okay, now the idea would be, I don't know how big this is, but the idea would be to fold this in half. Hopefully. I've got all this stuff on this desk. Oh my gosh, we're starting all over with the too much stuff in my way thing. Okay, so I don't have side tables at this particular setup. I'm going to be doing a lot of things by setting stuff on the floor. There's my bone folder. It blends in because my desk is white. Okay, so that's that. And then what I would do is I would put this right here up against there, right? And I have options. I can either cut it or mark it there and then cut it on here, or I can hold this up against here and cut it. Now, I will say this. I do think that marking it, I just had a pen. Marking it and cutting a straight line with a ruler will probably benefit me more than trying to do it with scissors because they aren't attached and things move. I am going to use a metal ruler, and I do happen to have one up here. Yay! Okay, so I got a metal ruler, I got a pen. We're going to mark this. I know, I'm all over the place. I didn't really think about how I was going to do this video, and then I thought about it, and I was like, well, the stage you're at, they don't want to just sit and watch you. Okay, that's marked. So what we might do is go through and choose all the papers. So this goes with this one. And then this goes with this one, like that. And then we have, this is the Valentine. This is kind of Easter. We got all kinds of colors to work with in there. So we're looking at pinks and crazy. We might be able to do that or something else from that pad. Not this pad. This pad. Ooh, I wonder if something like that, because it mimics the eggs, kind of. The eggs on the tree? I know. My brain's weird. But in here we've got all these little eggs hanging on that tree, and I thought this would mimic that kind of. So we're going to take this out of here, and we're going to fold it in half. Okay, so far so good. And this is going to go on here like this. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this page for my mark. And then we can just lay it on the pile. I should probably be using pencil, but it's fine. Okay, and then that one goes on there like that. Now, my next one is kites. That's fun. So eggs and kites. Not so sure something like that wouldn't be fun. I don't want to do it all from one pad, though, because the first two pages were from two totally different pads, and then if I use another one from this pad, it's going to seem too same or something. I don't know. Let's see what's in here. Anything that I might be able to use. These are kind of old-timey, like old suitcases. I don't know if any of this is going to fit. Although I do like those letters. I might think about those letters depending on what that other one is on the other side. I don't think it goes with the Easter part. What about that? Maybe. Oh, I only got one of those left. No. What about that? Struggling with this one, guys. I mean, color-wise, but not really. Ooh, we might have to use that on something. I think that would go with something. I don't know if it's going to be this, but I think that would go with something. I didn't look in here, but I don't think there's anything in here that will work because the colors in this one are very limited. It's not to say I don't like them, it's just that they're very limited, and I'm looking, maybe we should open this one so we can look at both at the same time. So that's what we're trying to put, we're trying to tie those two pages together, something in between them to tie them together. That's how my brain is looking at this. That's a possibility. Only because I feel like the polka dots are relatively generic enough to go between both of those. Oh, okay. Half of this pad is not. There's polka dots again. Oh, that's very kite. That's not bad. I don't actually hate that either. So maybe the colors won't be too bad. It's just deciding on which pattern. I don't think I like the stripes in here. About something like that. Guys, I'm struggling with this one. Can you tell? I like the polka dots with this, but this is very browns and greens, and I'm trying to... Oh... I wonder... Okay, I'm going to tell you where my brain's going on this. So, the dark is okay with the trees. The blue is okay with this page. And the swirly lines remind me of the strings in the kite. That's where my brain went with that. So, yeah. I don't know if you want that kind of insight into how my brain looks at stuff, but there you have it. I'm always looking for ways to tie the stuff together. I think that's my struggle with true, like, truly eclectic, I guess. It has to match somehow. If it doesn't match somehow, I'm probably not going to like it. And that's just a fact of how my headspace works. Okay, so let's... Like I said, I don't mind eclectic. As a matter of fact, I tend to like it. But in the same token, I tend to be a little bit picky about it. Okay. I know. Then it's not eclectic, Cindy. Just face facts. You can't do eclectic. Oh, we're back to pink. Okay. Let's take this out of here. So we're not going to use this. Not that. What about that sheet with the... Not that. This. What about this? I'm thinking this might be a good one. I've got two, so if I have another calendar that this looks like it might go with, I can use it. But I think it might be fun here. Alright, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it out. The other one would be this. Oh. Okay, hold on. Because it's got the pink flowers, but it's got the green that pulls out that kite. I know. And you're not even going to be seeing them together. right? We know this is on the back of the page. The pages themselves, these pages don't get seamed together. I actually like this one better, I think. Ooh. I'm thinking this one. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't matter that they don't get seamed together. I try to tie it together anyway. I don't know. You guys can, feel free to tell me I'm nuts, or let me know what your thoughts are on, or what your thinking process is behind putting something like this together, or, I think it comes from the fact that my brain is trained in science. So, to some extent, it struggles with abstract and imagination and stuff. Having said that, I am still very much of the asymmetrical brain, if that makes sense. Maybe here. Now that I've torn it out. So, yeah, I don't necessarily like perfect symmetry when I'm working with things, but every once in a while, symmetry is what I'm looking for. But sometimes it's just difficult for me to escape the idea that I'm putting something in this book. It needs to be oriented toward what the theme of the book is. That makes sense? And since these calendars have no theme, I have a little bit of an easier time going into this with less stress on my brain, kind of. Okay. That's going to be a tough one. What about something? I got blue butterflies, and this is blue. So let's look in here. Maybe something in here will strike my fancy. And the first thing I turn to is green. Of course it is. So I can do tie-dye. Ooh, that's very butterfly-y. That's not a word. Don't use that word. I love those stripes. I don't like stripes in here for some reason. I don't know why. It's not striking a chord with me to use stripes in here, but it's not. Every time something striped pops up, I'm like, no. I don't know that I'm looking at tie-dye either. This one that I'm skipping is stripes, but no, still no stripes. Wrong color on the dots. Got a ton of tie-dye. What's interesting about the tie-dye is you can almost see stars in the shapes. So it's like, no. Okay. It was going to be either this or this. I'm actually thinking this. Or maybe a different. I'm actually thinking a tie-dye was my point. Maybe that. Maybe that. And it goes this way. So half of the page, actually the blue half of the page will get this side with, okay. All right, so it's going like that, and it's going like this. How long have we been at this? Okay. Okay, So we're basically choosing all the paper for this, the scrapbook paper for the connections. This is how the pages are going to get connected in this book. I'm gluing them together. So there will be no traditional binding in the sense that the whole book gets bound that way. Now, some of the scrapbook paper pieces, like I said, that's why I'm not gluing them together yet, because I have to decide. Some of the scrapbook paper pieces are going to get pages sewn in. Not all of them. I don't think I'm going to do it to all of them. The ones I don't do it to might end up getting reinforcement and become pockets. So, like up at the top where it meets the calendar, instead of getting glued all the way down, I might glue it on 3 sides or on these 3 sides and make it a pocket in between the 2. So I have to wait and see, but that's a possibility for some of them. Oh, look, we're back to, what is it with them going back and forth between the blue and the pink? And why is this one pink? August? Really? Okay. Goodness. I wonder if there's anything in here. I don't think this pad has a lot of pink in it, though. Also, yes, they are wide enough. But they do go this way, so I have to be careful. I don't think there's going to be anything in here. No. Okay, so no, not that. Just did one out of here. What if we tried to take another one out of this book? No. Wait. This book. Looking at the cover, I don't necessarily see anything that's blue and pink that would go. What if I might actually bite the bullet and put this in there. Okay, let me keep looking. We already did that one. No, that's too... I don't know why. I'm okay with the big roses. I think the burlap makes me feel... I don't know. See, and there's that, but there's no pink to tie the... I suppose I could decorate it to tie the other side in. That's the other thing. I'm not really considering the fact that, hey, you can always decorate to get what you want to tie that side. Now this is when I wish I could hear you through the camera, because I want to say, these are my options. Which one should I do? I'm thinking, because we already did flowers before and it will tie it together, I'm thinking this one. Not to mention there's little rosebuds on there. And we just said I could decorate to get some of the blue. I might be able to put some stars. Oh, I have some blue fabric stars. I actually do have some stars I could decorate with. Okay, so let's get this out of here. Not to mention I haven't pulled something from that pad in a few minutes, so there's that. And if I'm going to do this, I like to try and scatter the pads throughout the book. So I don't want like all from one pad stuck together in the same place, and then you move on and it's all from another. Then I feel like it looks broken up, or does that make sense to anybody? Okay. So now that we've gone through all of that, put this here. We only have a few more to choose. Now, I will choose something to act as fly Did I already do? That's what I did here, right? My January page. It starts with a piece of fly paper. So we need one for every, oh, we've got 4 months left. Okay. So we have that. What's in between here? And then, sorry, I'm looking ahead to I'm hoping that I can. Okay, do I want to put this between the apples and the roses? I have to remember, part of this is going to get cut off. This might not be a good thing to put in here, actually. I'm just going to save it. I have another journal project I want to show you guys. I'm going to save this piece. We're probably not going to use it. Okay, so now I need something to go between the apples and the bows. You would think I would reach for the fall journal, but I'm not sure why I reached for this journal. I mean, this book, pad, whatever. Maybe because I felt like I want to see, not that. I want to see about this. What do we think about this? I feel like you could decorate this with pink, especially since most of the polka dots are going to be on the back side of that. Oh, it's a good thing this gets to get cut off. It just tore right out of there, not on its thing. Okay, so this is going to go here. This journal is going to be all over the place. That's going to be so weird. Okay, now that was Halloween and this is Halloween and this was apples. I could pull a couple of things out of this fall journal here. I was thinking we came across that. That's the wrong color. We came across that yellow gingham, and I'm kind of leaning toward that. This? What do we think? And maybe something orange between those two. Now this is still going to get, yeah, this definitely still has to be folded this way. I hope it's wide. Is it wide enough once I fold it? Seems to be. Just. These ones are going to be tricky, guys. Okay, so this goes like this, and then this goes like this, and then this. It's still not the perfect size. It's got to get cut off up here. But it is like right at the seam on that side. So I have to be really careful. Is this one birds? Do I want to do 2 yellows in a row though? Because I was going to say I have, in here I have this. But the question is, do I want to do yellow gingham and then yellow that? What's this? I think I'm going to say yes. I'm going to throw caution to the wind, guys. Okay. And this will go on top of here. Okay, guys. I'm going to get the last couple of pieces of paper chosen. And then the next time we do something with this calendar, I will have cut and taped all of the scrapbook paper pages, taped to the middles, and we will decide on, okay, so that's Christmas ornaments, and this is fall trees, right? This is going to be tough because I want to pull back out of here. And actually, what I may do, this one, I may do it on the other side of here. So this will be my last page. And then we're going to go out of this pad for the page in between. I don't want to get... Okay, so something to go in between there. There was one that's like fiery red, this one. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to keep that open. I'm only looking for one more sheet, guys. Think we can do it? I think we can do it. Let's do it. Ooh, you know what else is a possibility? What about that? The sunflowers were okay with this, but I didn't like them with the Christmas thing. So we're going to go here with this one. Okay. And it would go this way with this on top. I am going to need to use this one to mark that one too. And then I will... Okay. So it would go like this, and then like that. And then... Does not have a dotted line? Yes, it does. And then like this. I'm going to mark this one. And that goes there, and then this goes here. Now, just to give you an idea, this is what I will do. I will take this and I will line this little knot, this little mark that I made up with one of these, in case nobody's seen me do this before. Not that this is like, I don't know. I always feel like I should caveat this by saying I don't think you guys are all dumb. I just am telling you what my thought process is. You see if I have a blade up here. I have one. It's going to be tough because I haven't used this in forever. If I can remember how to use it. Right now I'm just going to, oh, that's why. You're supposed to put it on your finger and then kind of... This one's really sharp because I hardly ever use it. Okay, so then that gives me my sheet to go on here. Now, as you'll see, it's still too wide this way. Two schools of thought on that. I can wait until I decide how I'm going to do the page. And if all I'm going to do is glue that down, I can glue it down and trim it off. And that way I'm sure that it's flush with the edge of the page. If I'm going to make it a pocket, I can do this. I can still do the same thing. I just would put my glue on here rather than on here so that when I line all this up, and then I would trim off the end that needed trimming for the pocket. Okay, so that goes there, and this goes here. And this is what we have so far for our calendar book. Okay, and I have to trim all of those pieces off. So that will be what I will be doing. And then when I come back and see you next, what we'll do is we'll decide where we want to put pages or folios, or I might even get out sew-in pockets or, you know, whatever like that to put on these. Again, like I said, this will get reinforced like this, especially because, I don't know. I mean, we sew through paper all the time. It's not new. Scrapbook paper and copy paper and coffee dyed paper and all kinds of stuff. I just feel like with the way I'm putting this spine together, it makes me feel better to put the reinforcement back here. You know, you guys feel free to tell me I'm overthinking it, because I probably am. But that's what I will be doing. So I will be trimming these pages down, and then I will be putting tape sorry, my scissors weren't cooperating. And then I will be putting tape on them and getting them all ready for being attached. Okay, so that one will go right there. And as you can see, we'll have all of these pages with tape on them down this thing. And we will then select pages to go in any of the ones that we want to put pages in, decide how we're going to do the ones that I want to make pockets out of. I may very well, when I see you again, you may very well see that what I've done is folded these edges to reinforce a pocket, or, you know, something to that effect. And that's the beginning of our calendar journal, guys. I hope you guys will stick with me for this. I have a lot of calendars to turn into journals, and I'm excited to go through all of them with you. And this might be just a continuing project, because I'm going to do most of these together, just kind of going through and putting them together. And hopefully this is going to be a good way for me to use up all that ephemera you saw me trying to store. So I will see you guys with the next organizing or crafting video. Bye-bye, guys.